Bobby Ocampo, I consulted a certified nutritionist in one of the big hospitals here in the Philippines, but she is proposing 300 grams or more of carbs, not to include fructose in fruits. For the latest in health-related information and ways to save your life, check out the newsletter. And as you might imagine, diabetes and prediabetes is also a big deal in the Philippines. A very, very carb-laden diet there. But you know what? If you see a dietitian here in the United States, you're likely to get the same thing. David, you want to share any of the discussions you and I have had, earlier debates about carbs and what the standard nutritionists will tell you?
Well, sure. I know I don't look like it, but I graduated 43 years ago with my master's degree in nutrition. And for almost all of that time, I was teaching what the federal government taught us, what I learned in graduate school, the food pyramid. On the base of the food pyramid, if you all remember, is carbohydrates, breads, cereals, pastas, etc. It's the foundation of a good diet. That's what we were taught. And I suppose that's okay if you're 20 years old. But what I've learned from Ford and others is that as we get older, your body's ability to metabolize carbohydrates is not as good as it was when you were younger. Well, I was a dietitian speaking around the country for the last 30 years or so, and my weight got up to about 191 pounds at 5'11". That was no good. That was too high. No one wants to listen to a fat dietitian. So I had to change something, and fortunately I met Ford, and I resisted him at the beginning because I didn't know who this guy was, and besides, he was telling me the opposite of what all my professors told me for so many years, that good diet is based on carbohydrates. I mean, look at the Mediterranean diet, for example. They're fine. Look at all the bread they eat. So I just had to do it by personal experience, and I thought, okay, I'll give it a chance. We'll try this out. And so I did two things. I started eating in a window of about 6 to 8 hours. I still do that for about 3 years now. And I let my pancreas rest. I let my cells rest from being bombarded with insulin all the time. And I was tested. I had insulin resistance. I couldn't believe that I, of all people, would have insulin resistance, but I did. And I lost 24, 25 pounds over about 6 months period. And my blood sugar numbers improved and my inflammation markers improved. And I'm healthier now. And I don't eat a lot of carbs. I eat some carbs. I don't promote ketosis. It's unnatural metabolic state. I don't think you should try to live that way. So I do eat carbs. I don't count them, but I probably eat 50, 60 grams of carbs a day. But I probably was eating to 150 grams of carbs in the past. So I've dramatically cut them down, and I think I'm healthier because of it.
That's a tough pills for an expert like a nutritionist to swallow, isn't it?
It was.
No pun intended. One of the things I would share for you that reminds me of a video I was watching, Dr. Annette Bosworth. She does great work in terms of helping people lose tons of weight, teaching people the details of the keto diet. I'm a big fan. She recently shared her own hemoglobin A1C going up to the mid fives. An interesting video. There was a lot of mea culpa. I'm snacking too much. I'm getting too many bites of my husband's desserts. I'm chewing too much gum. But she didn't bring up one thing, and you didn't mention it either with yours. This is the biggest thing that I see more than anything else. Yes, we can change our body weight, but we can't change our age. And Dr. Boz did mention she was getting into her 50s. And guess what? No matter how good you are at managing all of the other stuff with lifestyle, as we get into our 50s, aging is the most powerful. And even in this age of obesity, aging is still the most common risk factor for taking us all into insulin resistance, prediabetes, and diabetes. Very good discussion. Thank you so much.